Have you noticed that your lead magnets just aren't working anymore? You offer the free checklist, maybe the ultimate guide, maybe you even have a template that used to work, hoping that people are going to download it, be so overwhelmed with value that they beg you to take them on as a client, and eventually open their wallet and throw all their money at you. But nothing is happening. Your engagement is gone, your DMs are empty, and you're wondering what changed and what the hell do I do to fix it? Well, the thing is, lead magnets as we used to know them are dying because not because they're useless, but because they've become outdated. And this is upsetting to me too. I used to rely on lead magnets myself, and they've honestly made me hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. I would create a simple image on Canva to promote it, or like a 15-second reel to talk about it, and I would get hundreds of people commenting, requesting access to it, which would then blow up my DMs with ready-to-buy leads, many of which would convert into clients. But those days of those easy conversions are gone, sadly. And we can look to a recent Google study to see why this is happening and what we should do about it. So Google recently released a report or study about online buyer behavior over the past couple of years. And the data that they found was shocking in a lot of ways, but it was very typical for most online purchases. Now, keep in mind that these numbers here are typical across many different industries, products, and price ranges. So looking at these numbers here, personally, I think these are on the low end for selling coaching programs and coaching services, but we're going to use these numbers anyways just to kind of understand the concept. So what they found is that before somebody buys from a company, a brand, a person online, typically most people needed on average 7 hours of engagement across 11 touch points in 4 separate locations. So the most concerning stat there is the 7 hours of engagement, which means the old style or the old way of using lead magnets presents 2 major problems. Number one, what used to work best for lead magnets was getting your prospect to consume some sort of very short piece of content they could typically consume in like 2 to 5 minutes that would give them a quick win. Problem number 2 is that people in general just don't like consuming text-only content anymore. People want video. People want more interactivity, which means hardly anybody wants your PDF guides anymore, and the ones that do probably aren't going to even look at it. And an even smaller percentage of the people who maybe do even look at it just aren't going to get enough time spent with you to know you, like you, and trust you enough to want to buy your high-ticket coaching program eventually. So I know that all sounds kind of doomsday and like sounds like we're all screwed, but it's never ever going to be impossible to convert leads into clients. We just have to change and adapt the game that we're playing. And the solution to all of these problems here is actually a really simple one. So the solution is we start creating long form content and simply using that longer content as the new lead magnets. So let's talk about what this big shift looks like and how you can increase your engagement, get more leads, and higher conversion rate from lead into client again. So I'll walk you through 4 simple steps that I've used to solve these problems for myself and for my coaching clients. So number 1, choose a long form format that gives you the most time with your leads. So if we look at that Google study or the report that they had, they said that we need on average 7 hours of engaging content before somebody buys. And if you look at what you're probably currently doing for content, how long do you think it's going to take you to get that 7 hours of engagement over the type of content that you're already putting out there? So most people I know, most coaches, they're only doing like short form reels and text posts, right? Averaging maybe a consumption rate of 30 seconds per post, which is not enough at all. And if you're using like PDF guides, checklists for your lead magnets, you're maybe getting 5 to 10 minutes of consumption time there or engagement time there maximum. If we do the math on how long it's going to take of that short form content to reach the 7+ hours of engagement time, well, you're going to be nurturing your leads for literally years before they buy. Now, what that means is that the most important goal that we should be trying to optimize for with our lead magnets and our long form content is time spent with us, time spent engaging with us. So you have to have a content format that has people spending 10 to 30 minutes of time with you on average. So this can be YouTube videos or podcasts, basically one of the two. So either of those options there, it lets your prospects spend more time with you. And those 2 types of content, whether it's YouTube videos, long form YouTube videos, or podcasts, both of them are bingeable, right? So people will typically go on social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, they're kind of just bored scrolling. They're kind of looking for something to distract them, something to entertain them for a few minutes, whether they're stuck at a red light, whether they're sitting on the toilet, whether they're stuck in an elevator or waiting for a doctor's appointment, right? They're never sitting down with the intention of consuming lots of content. But when people go on YouTube or they listen to podcasts, they have a very intentionality of consuming that content. They're sitting down, focused, ready to look at this content specifically, right? So what that means is that your content should be bingeable as well, meaning that they can watch one video, the next one, the next one, the next one, and just go on this deep dive rabbit hole track of consuming all your content back to back to back. That's what we want to kind of build up. So what you need to do is pick a content format that allows people to do that. It's going to be YouTube videos or podcasts. So my suggestion is to pick the one that you enjoy consuming the most, the one that feels most natural for you to create. And it's usually going to be the same thing as whatever you consume the most yourself. Whether you typically get your long form content from podcasts or from just staring at a YouTube video for 30 to 60 minutes, right? Pick the one that you consume the most, and it's likely going to feel the most natural to create yourself. Step 2 is to frame your content like it's going to be a deep dive or a masterclass or a full training. And the reason we want to do this is because people don't want bite-sized content anymore, right? Like we just talked about, they're already overwhelmed with short-form content on these platforms, Instagram, TikTok, where they can scroll for hours and only see nothing, basically, right? They get no depth out of it at all. And people are looking for depth before they buy. So we have to give them depth. So what you want to do with your long-form content is, it doesn't need to like explain every single part of your system or every single strategy in every single video, right? But what you want to do with your content is basically just take all the smaller ideas, the bite-sized ideas that you're already talking about on social media and the short form content, and just expand on them, right? So take those ideas, those concepts, those topics that you're already talking about, and just dig deeper into those subjects themselves. So what you can do for that is like just take a small idea and then add more examples. You can give more context to it. You can use stories to explain ideas. You can give longer explanations about the why behind each idea, why you believe these things, why you believe your prospects should make these shifts or do these changes in their lives. Just take a micro idea and expand on it into a big idea, right? So this video right here is a perfect example of this right here. I took a small idea that I talked about on Instagram last week, lead magnets. It was a 35-second reel, and I'm expanding on the idea with this long form video right here, right? Talking about a small micro topic of lead magnets. That's it. And this is going to be probably a 10 to 12 minute video, right? So we take a micro idea, we expand it on a deep dive topic or a mini masterclass to kind of just go more in depth on the smaller topics that we're already talking about. Simple as that. Step number 3 is to promote your long form content the same way that you used to promote your lead magnets. So the promotion process or promotion strategy of these long form lead magnets doesn't really need to change at all. It should be the same way that you're doing it before. We're just changing the actual thing that we are promoting on the back end. So you should still always talk about your long form content on your stories, your reels, your captions, your posts, all over social media. Now, you approach it the same way. You would either ask people to comment a keyword under your post or your reel or your video, whatever it is, or you can tell them on your stories to DM you a keyword if they want this deep dive training or this masterclass. Same thing in your DMs themselves. Like if you're having a conversation with somebody and they're giving you some buyer resistance, you feel like they're not really ready to buy, they're backing off a little bit, they're giving you short answers, it's a good sign that they need to be warmed up a little more. So you can simply send them a direct link to one of your long form videos to try and nurture them more before you actually put an offer in front of their face. Now, the other thing is when you are with most lead magnets, the goal is also to get them onto your email list as well, right? So we typically lock the lead magnet behind an opt-in page. That's a little more awkward when you're using long form content like a podcast or a YouTube video. So what you can do is you can use DM automations like ManyChat and just have it respond to their comment and then send them a message, say, hey, did you want this training on XYZ? If so, drop your best email address below so I can send it to you. Then they drop their email address in the chat. ManyChat will automatically add them to your email list and your welcome sequence there so they can be nurtured in another place as well. And then you would use either the automation to automatically send them the link to the video, or you can manually send it yourself as well. So either way, the process is still the exact same, but the steps might need to change slightly depending on where you're sending them and how you're delivering it. So if you're putting it behind an opt-in page, that's perfectly fine too. Or if you want to send people directly to the YouTube link or directly to the podcast episode, just collect their email address in the chat and it's going to get you, and it's going to allow you to build that separate audience and nurture them in a different way, which kind of plays back into that Google study there that we talked about at the beginning, which is like you want to reach people in different locations as well. So the more locations we can get people to, which is like Instagram, email, YouTube, podcasts, whatever, the more places we can send people, the better. So try and like knock out 2, 3, 4 birds with one stone. Simple as that. Now, the main shift here is to stop thinking of your stories and your short form content as the tools you're using to nurture your prospects or to nurture your leads. Instead, what we're doing is we're simply using our entire Instagram profile and presence as like the top of funnel, and then you're using that Instagram presence to drive traffic to your long form content and to your email list. That's really the main shift here. But otherwise, the approach with promoting these lead magnets is the exact same. So that's step number 3. Step number 4, lastly, is to over time build up this library that compounds and creates this bingeable asset that has this. You're eventually trying to build up this asset of bingeable content that allows people to quickly go through it and just consume a mass amount of your content very quickly so that you can take leads from cold to sold as fast as possible. So you don't have to do this right away, but over time, our goal should be to eventually create enough long form content that there's like 15 to 25 hours of total content there. Because obviously, not every video, every topic we talk about is going to be interesting to every single prospect that we have. So we have to have enough content in there, in that bingeable library that we're creating, that enough of those pieces of content or those topics, those ideas are going to be interesting to each individual prospect, which means that if we want those 7 hours total, you might need 15 to 20, 25 hours of total content so that there's enough pieces of that your individual prospects are going to be interested in. Hopefully that makes sense. So my suggestion is just start creating like 1 to 2 long form pieces of content per week, whatever you feel is sustainable for you. And then over time, over 6 months, a year, 18 months, eventually you're going to have this bingeable library built out of those 15 to 25 hours of bingeable content that your prospects can go through. Now, the other idea here is that to build up those 15 to 25 hours of content, that's going to take you probably 50 to 100 different videos or episodes that you can then reuse and recycle over months and years as well, right? So with the typical old style of doing lead magnets, like you would create 1 to 5 lead magnets, and then you would kind of cycle through those over and over again. They would get reused and just beat to death. And then people would eventually just lose interest in them, right? Your audience has seen them. They've either got them already or they're not interested in them anymore. And then they just start getting ignored. And then when everybody ignores it, it kills your engagement on your account. But when you have these 50 to 100 different podcast episodes or YouTube videos, you have 50 to 100 different assets that you can use as lead magnets and cycle through these over and over again, which means that you're not stuck promoting the same things over and over again. So your audience isn't going to get sick of hearing it, which means that by cycling through all these long form lead magnets, it's going to massively increase the engagement on your social media as well. So another little side bonus there. So there you have it. 4 simple steps to speed up your lead conversion rates. So we have to understand that lead magnets aren't dead because the concept is dead. It's not that the concept isn't broken itself. It's that what is dead is the old way of creating lead magnets that just no longer gives people what they need to create massive amounts of trust with you before they buy. Buyers simply need to spend more time with you as there's more and more competition and noise on the internet in general, but in the industry, the coaching industry specifically, right? So people are looking for more depth. They want more clarity. They want to feel like they know you, like you, and trust you before they even consider working with you. And long form content gives them exactly that. And it gives them the space to connect with you, to learn from you, and to build that trust very quickly, especially once we have that bingeable library asset created where they can quickly run through 3, 4, 5 hours of content in a couple days as opposed to a couple of weeks, right? So get started on creating your long form lead magnets and let them do all the heavy lifting for you. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And by the way, if you would like a deep dive masterclass into the 5 core systems that have helped me and dozens of other coaches scale to over 20K per month, check out this video right here.